I've gone full electric. Welcome to Hack a Week. So yes, I've gone off the fossil gobbler thing and decided to go full EV. I sold my Mini Cooper and I really love that car, but I want to move towards EVs because I own a auto repair shop, Euro Auto Service, and I'm thinking ahead to 5 or 6 years down the road when I think I'm going to start seeing some of those cars come into my shop for the usual wear and tear items like brakes, suspension components. There is a cooling system in here for the inverter, brake fluid flushes, things like that. I'll be doing some of that. I want to get familiar with EVs, so why not just jump in and buy one? So I did. This is a 2019 Nissan Leaf SL Plus. That's a mouthful. But the Plus has the 62 kilowatt hour battery, has a range of 215 miles. So far I've seen that the real world range is around 200 miles most of the time. That's the way it goes with range ratings. It has a 214 horsepower motor with 250 pound-feet of torque. My Mini Cooper had a 172 horsepower motor. I think it made 172 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 time on that car was about 6.8, 6.9, 7 seconds. This is rated at 6.9, and it does that. It's really quick, so if you need to zip around on the freeway, it definitely does it. You just touch the accelerator and go. There's also a lot of different drive modes. There's an eco mode. There's a e-pedal, which is really cool because it's regenerative braking that turns it into basically a one-pedal car and stop-start traffic. It will actually slow you down enough to a stop that most of the time you don't even need to touch the brake. Overall, I really love the car. So what I want to do today is just walk around, show you a little bit about the car. I'm going to do more videos as time goes by in depth about each of the systems and get into detail. For instance, the display on the dash, all of the various menus in there, we'll talk about that in other videos. But today it's just going to be a simple walk around, get familiar with it. We're going to take it for a drive to a local DC charging station. And I'm going to see just how long it takes to charge it up from, I think I'm at about a 30% level on the battery right now. So, come on along and we'll do a little walk around. So here it is. It's got the typical Nissan face on it, just like a lot of other sedans made by Nissan right now. The charge ports are at the front, right there under that small opening. I can open it with the key fob. Let's take a look in there. We have two ports here. We've got the AC charge port. That's the one you would use at home for 110 volt or 220 volt. And it does come with the cord for that from Nissan. That's also known as a EVSE, electric vehicle service equipment, because the charger is actually built into the car, and what you're doing is supplying AC voltage here, either 110 or 220, and then the car charger handles it to take care of charging of the battery. Here we have the CHAdeMO port, which is kind of being phased out, being replaced by CCS. I guess on the newer Nissans they're switching over to CCS, but they did not do that with the Leaf. So a bit limited on DC charging. When you go looking around for it, you make sure that you have a DC charging station that has CHAdeMO. Most of them have at least one. Let's take a little walk around to the back. It's deceptively large on the cargo area. You first open it up, you kind of get the impression that it's small in there, but it's actually quite spacious. There's a lot of room in here. That's the Bose sound system, subwoofer, and this bag has the EVSE in it from Nissan. Also has an emergency roadside kit, a first aid kit, and then since the car does not have a spare tire, what it does have in this little pocket right here is a patch kit. It's a small compressor that runs off from 12 volts, and it's got basically some fix-a-flat in there, so you can get your tire potentially patched up enough to get to somewhere where you can get a repair done. But anyway, that's the cargo space. And of course you got the lovely zero emission badge on the back. Pretty blue, I love that. SL Plus. Let's go around to the side and check out the rear passenger area. Pretty roomy back here. There's enough leg room there. It does have the headliner a bit low for really tall people. I'm 6 feet tall. I didn't notice anything of bumping my head in the back there. Got your typical little pockets in the back. I put some rubber mats in that I bought. Keep my carpet all nice. The seats do fold down. It ends up pretty high, so you don't have a fully level area back there when you take the seats and put them forward for cargo. Here we are on the passenger side front. Again, I got the rubber mats, cup holders in the middle, cup holders in the door. Really nice, simple interior. Nothing super fancy, just a good, decent car. Has a very, very spacious glove box. It goes back in there quite a ways. I've got the owner's manual stashed in there, and COVID era antibacterial wipes. So let's go sit in the driver's seat and take a look at the dash panel. This little button is kind of cool. When you have the key fob on you, it is now locked. Now it's unlocked, so you don't need to actually get out your key fob at all. It just needs to be on your person. Window controls here, lock, unlock, adjustment for the mirrors. Down here we have a button to open up the charge area. And then here you've got the adjustment for the trip reset and the brightness of the display. Down here is the power button, so you step on the brake, push the power button, everything comes to life, and suddenly the steering wheel gets much easier to move. I like the controls on the steering wheel a lot. They're very intuitive, easy to figure out. These buttons right here, the cursor buttons, navigate you through everything here on the dash. Sorry for the glare. For instance, in this menu, I can go through various sub-menus, and then if I go left-right, I have different menus, which up on the top there show you what menu you're in. This is the settings menu. That is the menu for the electrics, for the charging. There's the battery temperature. There's the charge time estimated. And this is just shows you power into how much you're using. This is in regen. Battery capacity still has all of its capacity because it's a brand new car. Only has 3,900 miles on it. And then we go to the audio and navigation. Oh, that's the audio menu. This is navigation menu. Various things going on there. And let's see, this is the Leaf menu. This is my favorite. It's the one that shows you all the info about the car. I usually leave it on this screen because it tells me what my average miles per kilowatt hour are, and then also the small display there shows me if I'm in eco mode or if I have the E pedal on or off. Shows me my battery percentage. Also shows me the range that's left on the battery. And over there to the right, the speedometer, of course. And what else? That's the economy history. And then we go to the information one. This is the iDrive thing, or whatever you want to call it. I forgot what they call it now. ProPilot. So, in this setting, tire pressures show up there. This shows miles per hour and a compass heading. And here you can turn on or off the blind spot monitoring. It will give you an audible little beep. Plus, over in the mirror, right there, and that little car icon looking thing, that lights up yellow to let you know that someone is in your blind spot. And this is part of the adaptive cruise control. When we're driving down the road, there would be some green lines in front of the car, and you can actually adjust how reactive it is to how close you can get to the car in front of you. If you have it at maximum, it will automatically pull back the power going to the accelerator pedal, slow you down as you get closer to a car. Of course, there's nothing like just paying attention as well. I usually don't rely too much on the electronics. In fact, I turned off the lane keeping, which is in another menu here. So anyway, over on the right side of the steering wheel, this is where the cruise control settings are. That's the Pro Pilot on and off. The telephone buttons, which works quite well. You just push talk and you can have your phone connected via Bluetooth, and you can dial a person and it will dial them up for you. So let's move on to the center console display. So here we are on the center console display. I have no route chosen at the moment. I can pull up a map and this shows us where we are. And there's a lot going on there with the navigation. That will be for another video. We go back to the main menu and turn this on, tap audio. There's the Sirius XM, all the channels that I've got. Really glad it's got Sirius XM. If you go to source, then you've got AM, FM, Sirius XM, USB input, Bluetooth, auxiliary. Apple CarPlay is on there as well. Also have the camera button over here, so I can turn on the camera. This is the forward facing one. If I put my foot on the brake, put it in reverse, now we're looking backwards. Also has the overhead display, which is kind of cool. I'll just gently roll backwards and you can see how it's just taking all four cameras, extrapolating all that data into something, giving me an overhead view, which is pretty nice. And then if we go forward again with the camera activated, this is nice for parallel parking in tight places to make sure you're not too close to the car in front of you and leave enough space for them to get out. So we can turn that off. Go back to the menu again, to the audio, and let's move on down to the climate controls. A lot like previous Nissans. There's the on-off. We've got AC and heat, and it is a heat pump. The most awesome part about that is it's instantaneous. On a cold morning, I can turn that on, and within like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, I've got warm air. When it's hot outside, I've got cool air almost instantly. It's great. It has heated seats, high and low setting on that. There's the USB auxiliary input, and there is a cigarette lighter style power. Down here we have the eco button, which is just basically what it says. It just conserves energy. The accelerator pedal doesn't respond as fast. It doesn't accelerate as fast. This is the E pedal right here. When you pull this back, it will do the regen a lot more aggressively, and that will pretty much let you drive the car like a one-pedal car. Here we have the shift lever, so to speak. Pull it back this way, and we are in drive. If I pull it back one more in that direction, I'm in B mode, which is a little bit more regenerative braking, but not as much as E pedal. You can see E pedal is engaged right now. It's lit up blue. If I turn it off, it goes out. Eco pops up when I turn that on. And of course, if I push forward, I'm in reverse. If I push the top of the knob where it says P, puts it in park. It has an electric parking brake. Just pull up on it, it engages the rear. Back down, and it's off. So when I put it in reverse, if you can hear out there, there is a backup warning for pedestrians and squirrels. All right, I think we're ready to go for a drive. It's a little sunnier. I'll just pop open the sunglasses stashy spot up here. Also, there's a garage door opener on the rear view mirror. There are 3 buttons you can program. Really simple. You just hold the remote up, hold the button until it flashes, and that's it. It's programmed. All right, let's get on our way. It's very quiet. Takes a little getting used to. It's actually enjoyable. I kind of like not hearing an engine. Some people, I guess, miss that. I'm not a person that likes loud exhaust anyway, so I kind of jumped right into the quiet EV thing. All you hear mostly is tire noise. As I mentioned, handling is pretty neutral. It's just sporty enough where if you do need to maneuver quickly, you can. It's not quite as solid feedback as the Mini Cooper was, for instance. That car was very, very nimble. It was like driving a go-kart. But I do like the acceleration and handling of this. Nothing that I really feel like I lost a lot of anything in moving from the Mini Cooper to this. As I mentioned, the acceleration is actually great. Now I'm on a hill right now, waiting for the light to change. If I let go of the brake, the car stays right here. It actually has a hill hold. Oh, it just decided to start rolling back. But if I put E-pedal on, it's gonna stay right here. It's not gonna go anywhere. So I'm gonna really nail it right here. 60 miles an hour. So plenty of acceleration, not a problem at all. So we're headed to a charging station near Sanford, North Carolina. And on the way, I'm going to stop at the recycling facility and drop off some bottles that I have in the cargo area. And there should be one CHAdeMO charger there. If it's available, I'm going to charge up there. We're going to see just how long it takes to get from 38% to 80% or full. It just depends on how the battery handles it. If the temperature of the battery rises too much, it's just going to cut off the charging, probably at about 80%. But I would like to know how quickly I can recharge on a DC fast charger. I have not done that yet. I've only done it once at home, and I did buy a grizzl-e charger that's mounted outside on the garage wall because it's outdoor rated and I can just leave it there all the time and plug in. It's about the same rating as far as its ability to charge as the one that came from Nissan, but the one from Nissan is not really rated for outdoor storage. It's more for indoor. And I kind of like the idea of keeping that in the car all the time, no matter where I am. At the very least, if I have a 110 volt outlet, I can recharge. It's going to take overnight to only get maybe 20%, but at least it's something. And if there's a 220 outlet, then I can charge from that within a few hours time. Okay, just dropped off my recyclables. Getting back into traffic now. When you have the wheel turned and you really hammer on it, you will get a little bit of tire squeal. And you can feel the traction control and the torque steer kicking in a bit. But it jumps right out there. All right, here we are. You can see the charging station's right over there. So we're gonna pull in nose first and charge up. This is a charge point charger. So let's see how this is going to work out. So at about 10 minutes in, we're 24%. We have added 14 miles. So far, the charges are $1.18. Let's see how long this takes to get up to whatever percent it allows me to. So we're chugging along at 45 kilowatts, and you can see there to get to 75% is going to take about 30 minutes. Battery temperature is looking just fine. We'll see where it is when it gets to around 60 or 70%. 30 minutes into charging, 63%. Battery temperature looks fine. So far, this has cost me $6.32. We are at 80%. About 40 minutes it took to do that. Added 104 miles. Cost $8.75, and you can hear the fossil burners in the background. Okay, let's go ahead and stop charging. Yes. This touchscreen leaves a bit to be desired. That's okay, because I think I can stop it on the phone app. Okay, that's fine. I can stop it on the phone app right up there in the corner. Stop. Yes. We are ending the session, and there we go. $8.91. Oh, $8.95. 45 minutes to get to 80%. So just a quick back of the napkin, so to speak, calculation. Right now at this gas station, regular gas is $2.65 a gallon. I usually burn the higher octane stuff in the Mini Cooper. And from what I can figure out, this car is costing me about 7 cents a mile to operate. The Mini Cooper was probably around 12 to 13 cents a mile. So that's a pretty substantial savings. And I'm not belching out nasty stuff into the atmosphere. There's still pollution getting out there from the fossil fuels that are burning to make the electricity. But the carbon footprint of that has got to be less, because every time you go through an iteration of refining something, excuse me while I accelerate into traffic. I love that. Anyway, it's got to be better for the environment. And I think this is going to be a big year for EVs. There's a lot going on. There's a lot happening with batteries and more range. I think people in the US are going to jump on board a little more this year. And we're back. Well, there we go. First time charging on a fast charger. That didn't take too long. 45 minutes to get back up to 80%. That would have gotten me down the road another 140 miles, 150, something like that. So that's not so bad. I can live with that. You just have to plan your trips ahead. And then don't forget, when you're staying overnight somewhere, if you stay where you've got a level 2 charger, you can charge overnight to 100% easily. I guess if you have to, you can plug into 110 and get a little bit of range out of it, but at any rate, it's an EV. There are some things you have to get used to with doing any kind of a long trip. This has a 215 mile range rated, probably 200 real world, as I mentioned, so you learn to work within those parameters. And you realize after a bit that you really don't have to have a lot of range. It just means that you need to plan ahead for your stops to recharge. Overall, I really love the car. It does not have the telescoping steering wheel like the 2020 model does. I sat in one of those at a dealer showroom, and it is a bit more comfortable for me, being long-legged. I can get the seat back a bit further, but it's not a deal breaker. I still love the car. I love the drive. It's comfortable, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
So this is the first of many more videos, as I mentioned, on this car and EVs, and we'll get into a little bit more on what's going on with all of those menus, all the various settings and features that you have while you're driving the car. We'll take a look under the hood sometime, discuss what's happening there, get the car up on the lift at the shop, take a look underneath and see what everything looks like there. And for now, I guess that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?